on, guys, give it loads. Yeah, that's fine. People got the power. People got the power.
Tell me, can you hear it?
Tell me, can you hear it?
Louder every hour.
Louder by the hour.
Power,
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 power to the people.
power.
People got the power.
That's great.
People got the power.
Power and the people.
Power and the people.
Tell me, can you hear it?
Tell me, can you hear it?
Louder by the hour.
Louder by the hour.
Power!
Power!
Looks good. Here you go. I wonder, could we get a shot of you all walking towards us, you know, as if you're arriving at that stroke? Is that okay? Perhaps go down to where the NLI sign and just walk towards us. Yeah, that's great.
Manuel, do you want this used? This is the water protectors.
Right, okay.
So
Manuel,
Yeah, okay, well-
Manuel, would you be able to explain a little bit what you're here for?
Yeah,
this is live on
absolutely.
DVP's Facebook.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, so we're here to protest against the planned expansion of the Aughinish alumina factory. They're seeking for planning to expand the red mud deposits. So they want to do that by blasting rock locally, which we think is very hazardous considering that the retainment ponds are just meters from the estuary. So this could result in a complete disaster. On top of that, we're kind of trying to voice the concerns that local people have been trying to express over decades about the impact on public health, the loss of livelihood, the loss of livestock, the impact, the climate change impact, considering of the huge amount of energy, and the pollution to the area, the kind of slow toxic pollution to the area.
And in terms of this expansion, this new pool that they're building, pit that they're building, how big is this, and what impact will it have in the local area?
It's many acres. So currently there are 50 million tonnes to 75 million tonnes of red mud, which are currently there. They're contained in heaps, most of them unlined. So all the toxicity and the complex mineral cocktail that is into them, is leaking into the ground and into the water eventually. They're trying to raise it to 44 metres. There's also salt on top of the red mud. There's also salt cake, which is a hazardous material, so it's classified as hazardous because of its huge environmental impact. They want to raise that to over 30 metres. So we think it's really reckless, and this should be really kind of looked at carefully.
And what's your message to the government? What are you calling on the government to do now?
Justice, accountability, to do what they have been elected for, which is mostly protect the people and not corporate interest, and trying to make Ireland a livable place for everyone.
Brilliant, thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.
Doing our very best to try and prevent Russell from their efforts to begin rock blasting beside 50 to 75 million tonnes of toxic waste. The Aughinish saga has been ongoing over 20 years now, and there's the possibility of an environmental disaster turning into an outright calamity. If this toxic waste is to flow into the Shannon as it did in Hungary only 10 years ago, it will be like a nuclear bomb for the Shannon Estuary's ecosystem. And we ourselves in Future Proof Clare and the 20 or so other environmental groups that have supported us, and the political representatives that have supported us, including Deputy Paul Murphy and many more, refuse to let this happen, and we're calling for an immediate public inquiry into Aughinish alumina, justice for the Gagan family and the other families in West Limerick who have been suffered health impacts from the fallout of the refinery, and for the immediate cancellation of Brussels' licence to rock blast. This cannot happen under any circumstances.
Tim, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to live beside this place?
So I live on the Clare side of the estuary, directly opposite the refinery, and it towers like a monstrosity overall around it. It is, it can be viewed in maybe a lot better from the Clare side, and it is something. It is a scar on our landscape. It is most definitely done immense damage to the local ecosystem. There's the possibility of it doing so much more, and we do believe that it has done serious damage to public health, and we really do need those in power to approve calls for an oral hearing that the Gagan family have called for, and maybe an independent investigation, because many in the local community consider the Aughinish report that was published in 2001 to be a whitewash and to be structurally flawed, and that we need an independent investigation.
Okay, how does it impact your life on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I would be very fond of flat fishing with my uncle and father, and I mean, he'd be telling me about when he remembers the Shannon Estuary being a pristine ecosystem in the late 1970s, since it's been industrialised, the impact that has had on the community in many ways. It has made it a far less enjoyable place to spend time in, and it has done serious damage to animal health, public health, and it has to be dealt with. The operations cannot be suspended, and the rock blasting cannot begin at this time.
Can you taste it, smell it in the air?
So I've directly
You live in Dublin?